Denver police are investigating a fatal hit and run. It happened between a motorist and a pedestrian on West Colfax Avenue near I-25. Police tweeted about 11:30 last night that one adult woman was found dead at the scene. We do not have a description of the driver or the vehicle. They say that the vehicle left the area.
A grim new estimate of traffic deaths from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. People are dying on our roads at a rate that we have not seen in 20 years. Their data always lags a bit, so the report released this week only shows at the first 3 months of 2022. But road deaths increased sharply during the pandemic in 2020, and they continue to rise. More than 9,000 deaths estimated on the roads nationwide in the first quarter of 2022 represents a 7% increase over the same time last year, the most since 2002. Here in Colorado, data shows traffic deaths were up nearly 10% in that first quarter of this year compared to the same time last year. In Denver, 54 people have died on the road this year. The city is on pace to nearly match last year's total of 84 road deaths. Last year saw the most deaths on Denver roads since the city embraced a Vision Zero plan to end all traffic deaths by the year 2030.
Well, the trial of a former Aurora police officer has been pushed to from this week to November. The judge pushed the proceedings for Francine Martinez because the victim in this case is in a Denver jail. Martinez is charged with failure to intervene. We're going to show you some of the body cam video from the confrontation. We do want to warn you it was a bit of a brutal arrest. The case dates back to a trespassing call in Aurora that police received in July of last year. Martinez and Aurora officer John Hubbard responded. The altercation began when the two tried to arrest the suspect, Kyle Vinson. According to court documents, Vinson was the only suspect. He did not run, and it says he did not resist arrest. Documents show that Hubbard pistol whipped, choked, and threatened to shoot Vinson. Hubbard is charged with assault, Martinez failure to intervene. Vinson was supposed to appear in court in Arapahoe County yesterday as a witness in the case, but Denver police recently arrested him in a separate, unrelated case. He has a bond hearing on Friday.
No more updates about Casa Bonita's renovations anytime soon. A judge granted a temporary restraining order withholding the release of their plans, and it comes after attorneys for the restaurant filed a civil complaint against Lakewood and Jefferson County to stop some of the plans from being released. Now, the order states documents won't be released for at least 21 days. Lawyers in the city will now work to redact or remove documents requested through a new Colorado Open Records Act request. Now, last week, Lakewood released blueprints to 9 News. You saw them on this show. After we filed a request through the KUSA. Some of the plans that we received are documents that the restaurant wants to protect, like security camera locations. So 9 News agreed to remove one document from our original article after the restaurant's lawyers expressed concern about employee safety. 6:07 now, and the leaders with the World Health Organization held a discussion yesterday to talk about the latest in the monkeypox outbreak and the continuing challenges that are posed by COVID-19.
More than 35,000 cases of monkeypox have now been reported to WHO from 92 countries and territories, with 12 deaths. Almost 7,500 cases were reported last week, a 20% increase over the previous week. We remain concerned that the inequitable access to vaccines we saw during the COVID-19 pandemic will be repeated, and that the poorest will continue to be left behind.
The doctor also says that over the past 4 weeks, reported COVID-19 deaths have increased by 35%.
COVID's impact in the classroom starting to show, and Colorado students are going to have a lot to make up this year. The State Department of Education just unveiled the first state assessment results from spring. It is the first time the normal tests were given out since 2019. Scores in 2022 were worse than those for students in 2019. 7th grade saw some of the biggest drops in percentages of students meeting expectations in English and math. Those kids were 5th graders when the pandemic started and just started getting into more complex math and reading.
We need to be checking for those missing pieces and be filling them in as students engage meaningfully in their grade level curriculum.
There are also some big gaps for Black, Hispanic, and low-income students compared to white students. Now, the gaps did get a little smaller, but only because white students got worse. No race improved from 2019.
One thing you want to know about the weather today are the stats. We're going for a high of 88 degrees. That is now 1 below. We've lost a degree for the normal high, 87 degrees. The record 100 from 2020, and the record low just 5 years before that, 47 in 2015.